Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto. Hope you're having a great day. So I started looking at things today, and I had been contemplating what I was saying yesterday about the DeFi space. And right now it's just getting hammered. So there was another hack. Rari Capital has been hacked. They were merged with Fei Protocol, who offered $10 million, a $10 million bounty to the hacker. And we'll move on to the next one. The G7 countries are now saying, hey, listen, we've got to act on inflation. The United States has already started. The UK has followed suit. And you're looking at the rest of the G7 hopping in on the same thing. Goldman Sachs, very interesting. They're offering their first Bitcoin loan service, or Bitcoin-backed loan service. That's huge. That's huge because that means that Wall Street is on board with crypto or digital assets. Now, we all know that there are many metaverses out there, and there's a company out there trying to map them all. The company's name is, or the project name is Metaverse. And it is actually being created by one of the developers of MetaMask, and his name is Josh Dietz. Amazing undertaking. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Lastly, Equinox, global luxury gym chain. What is it? They have like 40 different stores around the world. They say they're going to accept cryptocurrencies. So we'll dig in. Let's start with the G7 countries. Clearly, there's a problem with inflation all around the world. And, the central banks have to act on, handling it, or the best they can, right? So they're tightening their policies and things like that. And that's going to actually have a bad effect on the decentralized financial space, or DeFis. So they've got to knock off, or not the DeFi space, but the central banks have to knock off hundreds of billions of dollars off their balance sheets. What are they going to do? Well, they're raising rates. I know the United States is expected to raise rates, several times by 50 basis points each. That's a very big deal. That is a very big deal. So that means that, DeFi spaces are just not going to necessarily fare well. This is in addition to all the hacks that have happened and everything else. And I keep saying it's about trust, right? So if you can't trust, who's out there, who you're working with, it's going to be painful. So I'm looking at total value locked, probably coming down a little bit more. Now, Rari Capital getting hacked for $80 million. 80 million. What? And they offered the hacker a $10 million bounty. Right? That's interesting, because if the hacker gives back the money, you get 10 million, they get back net 70 million, and they're able to close this hole. Hole was actually reported on or recorded by blockchain security company PeckShield. And this is the second time I've mentioned PeckShield in 3 days. The other day they had, just like with Certic, they had discovered, how another company was hacked. Another DeFi company, what is it? Deuce Financial. The DeFi space has been taking mad hits. This is why I keep telling you, do your own research. There's nothing better than doing your own research. Listening to people like me, doing your own research, putting all that together and figuring out how you feel about a given topic. Dive into these projects before you make an investment. Seriously. Start thinking about the utility of these investments. If something sounds crazy, don't do it, right? Oh, we're going to give you 50 bazillion percentage points on... No. That's a little too much, right? It's a little crazy, right? Well, there you go. Because DeFi Kingdoms took a mad hit. I don't know if it's recoverable. I really don't know if it's recoverable. That's huge. Anyway, so you've got those topics out. Goldman Sachs, if you were looking for a a possibility for Wall Street to really get involved in crypto, I don't think you can get any better than, a major investment bank saying, we're going to do crypto, we're going to do Bitcoin backed loans. What? Yeah. And it's not like they're doing this just one thing. They've been getting into crypto, writing about it. They're saying that the metaverse space, all the technology go along with it, Web3, Web3 is not just one thing. Just to put that out there for you, I'll probably do another video about what Web3 is, right? Another teaching video to talk to you about what Web3 is. It's not just DeFi. It's not just metaverse. It's the traversing of data. It's the safety of data. It's the decentralization of certain aspects of what you're doing online. There's a lot that goes into the definition of Web3 technologies and how they can be leveraged, seriously. And it's big, and it's growing by leaps and bounds every day. And Goldman Sachs has an article saying that, that space has about $8 trillion in potential. Whoa, $8 trillion in potential. And some of that potential is actually being realized. Okay, or beginning to be realized. So there are things that are going on that you can be paying attention to. And if you look at right now as being the ground floor for that space, there's a lot going on. There are a lot of people that are talking negatively about Web3. Oh, it's nothing. Well, the internet was nothing. Just put that out there for you. Web 2.0 was nothing. Tesla was nothing. There are a lot of people thumbing their noses at technologies that they don't really know anything about. And look at where they are now. You never would have guessed. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, never would have guessed. And here's where they are. The metaverse is going to be huge. There's no doubt about it. It's already a huge space. It's going to be bigger. Now, Josh Dietz trying to map the metaverse is a big undertaking. If you live in New York, when you were a kid, one of the things you learned how to do living in New York City is learning how to read the transit map. Two-dimensional piece of something that you read to see what train connected to what train, where you had to go, all that stuff, all the confusing signs. Well, this guy and his team are building out metaverse. And what they're doing is they've identified cubes as how to do this. Obviously, it's all math. But being able to actually map out the metaverse based on these cubes. Now, that's actually pretty interesting when you stop and think about the metaverse is 3-dimensional. It's not 2-dimensional. So you've got to do it by coordinates, and that's what they're doing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they map this metaverse versus how they map this metaverse, and most likely how you'd be able to possibly traverse through metaverses to get to where you wanted to go. That's going to be a very, very, very big deal. Most people understand the metaverse is like this 3-dimensional world and da-da-da. A lot of metaverses, you enter the metaverse and you're put into like this landing zone, and then you decide where you want to go. Well, imagine that, but as a thing that you'd be able to access to be able to get into the metaverse. Hat tip to Josh Dietz and his team for even trying to do this. Now, he's one of the developers of MetaMask, which is a crazy popular browser-based, and they do have an app for it, but a browser-based wallet. Who I told you yesterday, they got in bed with MoonPay to create a new fiat on-ramp. Clearly, this is a guy that's not afraid of a challenge. And it's going to be interesting to actually see, as a technologist, I'm dying to see how they do this. I can already picture how helpful it could be, but man, that's going to be crazy. Something you should also consider if you are investing in cryptocurrencies. I'm not just here to talk to you about cryptocurrencies. Some of these crypto businesses don't have a crypto to invest in. So what do you think they're most likely going to do? They're probably going to find other ways for you to invest. One of them, look at Coinbase, is going to be a stock. That's one way. Maybe they do find a way to use coin to back the project and blah, blah, blah. That's highly possible in a lot of cases. But keep in mind, some of these places that you want to invest in as an investment vehicle, not necessarily as a currency, right, are going to be different. So pay attention to what's out there. You have options. It's sort of like, I can buy this ETF or I can go buy the stock directly. Choice is similar to that. I pay attention to all of it because I just want to know where I can put my money so I can grow my bag. Because that's what it's about, right? I want to grow my bag. But I want to do it smartly, and I want to do it in a way where I'm constantly educating myself. I'm not just teaching my kids about what they can do. I'm trying to teach them how to think, how to get creative in their thought process within the real world. That's what I'm trying to do, right? So look at Equinox. They chose a technology, BitPay. BitPay allows businesses to, get paid in cryptocurrencies. I think they've got, 12 or more coins right now that they use to do so. And they only do cryptocurrency. So, I picture them more as like a PayPal for crypto. You know what I mean? An authorized.net for crypto. We're going a different route in how we're developing for crypto acceptance, and we'll get to that later on this month. And I'll tell you how Rebel Reach, my team at Rebel Reach are doing that. But I find it interesting that what Equinox announced today is, oh, we're accepting crypto. No, you're not. They might have integrated the technology, but they're not exactly accepting crypto yet because they haven't created the gym packages and services for which you can pay in digital assets. They haven't done that yet. They're going to do it, confident, but that's a second press release. Remember I told you about things that happen now that aren't really happening now, they're happening in the future? Well, this is an instance. And it's a clear instance on, how that's put out there. So that's what I'm trying to teach my kids is look for things that at first sound like it's happening now, but it's not, right? So that means there's a second shoe to drop, an opportunity to take advantage of another pot. Now, mind you, did anything go on with BitPay? BitPay has a lot of customers, that are leveraging their technology. Microsoft uses them, WeWork uses them, Equinox uses them. There are a lot of companies. Go to their website. They have a lot of companies that they're working with. Like I said, we're doing things a little bit differently than them, differently than Strike, which would be, a smaller competitor to BitPay. But I like what they're doing. If I didn't like what they were doing, I wouldn't be trying to get into the space, right? Well, not trying. We are getting into the space. We'll have great news, definitely by the end of the month. Definitely by the end of the month. So keep tuned. But these are things that, are foretelling something else. This one is very direct. Hey, we've made the arrangement. We've partnered and we've made a connection. Maybe we integrated things, but we're not quite ready yet. See that? Second tap. Some things are not going to be, as clear in the messaging. And you have to think creatively about what's going to happen. Maybe do your own quick, internal decision tree analysis. This is what I'm talking about. It's those things that are, whispered now, but then heavily spoken about later. I gave you one, a week, 2 weeks ago, ISO 222. Go look at that video. Go look at many of the videos that I have. I'm giving you pearls on what's being announced now, but isn't really happening for a little while, right? So pay attention. Pay attention. Some of these things are foretelling something that could wind up being a good stock move. some things are telling you something could wind up being a good crypto move. Just saying. Oh, and for those people that are wondering why Kronos or crypto.com, went down today, well, they announced that they're cutting the rate of return. That'll do it. So what, they dropped like 20-25%? That'll do it with a quickness. With a quickness. What do you think that is? Yeah, that's a part of the DeFi space. What do you think is going on? So yeah, things are happening that you should be paying attention to. Tiny little tidbits that go around. Write them down, tag them, say, hey, this this is about, DeFi, or this one's about Web3, or this one's about whatever. I tag everything. In the videos that I do down below, you'll see a description about what I'm going to talk about. You'll see a quick bulleted synopsis, and then you see me get deeper into it. And then there's the video. There will be more coming, I promise. All right, let's get into the numbers, because this is another sideways day that's just, driving people, absolutely nuts. Let us see. And, amazingly enough, there's been a little uptick in total value locked. That's the DeFi space, right? It was at 196. Now it's at 199 billion. I'm expecting that this is probably going to go down as the G7 countries continue to alter their policies to help fight inflation. Right? That means interest rates are going to go up the whole nine. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. So pay attention to those kinds of things. If you're heavily weighted in your crypto with DeFi stuff, if you're doing anything in the DeFi space, I am not. I'm doing very simple things with staking, but I'm not taking chunks of money and dumping it in. It's, I happen to buy a coin and they happen to offer no frill staking. Okay, fine. I'm holding it for a while. Go ahead. But I can pull it out too, which is why my staking rate is very low, because I can yank it anytime I want. So I'm not really deep into DeFi at all. I'm not putting money into that. I'm putting money into a coin. I like that coin. I like the project. I did my own research. Boom, that's what we're doing. So that's what I pay attention to. The fear and greed index, 27. So that means we've moved away from 22 and 20 for the past couple of days and moved out of extreme fear and moved to just fear. I know it's kind of funny, right? But we're barely in just, look at this. We're barely in just fear. I think we've got a long way to go to get to good. We were at good a little while ago. See that? Here. We're at 52. That puts us, in kind of okay territory. I think we went up higher than that, 55, you know what I mean? So there's pent up energy. There are more and more things that are going on. There's tons of news out there about who's doing what. There are tons of press releases. Try to wade through the press releases. You can skim those. That's not news. That's a company bragging about what it's doing. That's not news, right? It's a very little news. So breeze through them, see what's going on. Maybe you find a little pearl, but then get to the news, right? Just do your own research. That's what I really want you to do. Look at this, 38,387 is where we're at right now. We're just bouncing violently within a certain space. You can see that space from here, right? Right about there. Yeah, because we were in, you see that? Because we were in the 37s. Okay, something to pay attention to. Something to seriously pay attention to. Yesterday, Ethereum was at 20 in the 27s. Bitcoin was in the 37s. You're looking at things that really could wind up shooting up. Now, they could drop a little bit. I was having a conversation with my friend Elliot. It's like a brother to me. I call his mom mom. He calls my mom mom. He's my chartologist. He was like, listen, if Bitcoin falls, it's going to fall to like 35. The next level down from 35 is like 33, then even 30. He's like, it could drop a little bit, but I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting that 35. It could. In my head, I'm going, all right, so let's pay attention to the math. That drops down to 35. Maybe Ethereum goes down to 2,500. Those, to me, those are buying opportunities. However, yesterday I did say I have a problem with Ethereum. I have a problem with Ethereum. When you can have somebody just hold on to your chair. If you can have somebody pay $44,000 to mint something, those were the gas fees. Not really gas fees, it's fees. $44,000. Are you insane? That told me that no matter how you slice it, me and my solution architect, Steven, and I were speaking today, and he was like, well, that's not really, I said, he goes, it's not really the network, it's, the nodes on the network and blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, but that really still goes toward too much work, congestion. He goes, yeah, you're right. It's still congestion. It's still congestion. So fast, get the transaction in, write it to the ledger, get it done, right? That's what you're looking for. That's what I'm looking for. So when I looked at ETH, I'm kind of like, yeesh, probably waiting on that one a little bit, right? I mean, I want to integrate Ethereum, but I don't know if it's going to make it to that first list. I really don't know. Steven's holding back on telling me certain things, so I don't know. I can guess, but I don't know. But it's still on sale. It's still on sale. I think it's still I think it's a very useful coin. Duh, I own some. I just don't know that for what we're doing, it works. So Steven would have to prove that to me, along with any other coin. Why would it work? And it's one of the things is, well, not everybody's using the same freaking coin. Not everybody's using the same freaking, protocol, right? Not everybody's using ERC20. Not all coins are ERC20. Let's just get that straight. Not everything falls under, is tapping into Ethereum's, network. Solana, Cardano, Bitcoin. They're just not doing that. But when I see things on sale, like I'm looking at HBAR, just come on, folks. That's a sale price. That's a big time sale price. That's a big time sale price. So when I look at the dApps that are on their project, on their network, I'm sitting there and I'm just going, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on with Hedera. That's a coin that I am interested in. Okay, that's a sale price. Yes, indeed. Right? I mean, a lot of things right now are on sale, nowhere near their all-time highs. You know what I mentioned? What is it, number 29? I think it was. ApeCoin, yeah. They dropped and they're still there. So yesterday they were at 1581, and today they're still at 1613. That's a pounding. So you spiked and then you dropped hard. Oh, it's going to take some time to build that back up. It really is going to take some time to build that back up. Don't sleep on Stellar. Don't sleep on Algorand. Those are things that, yeah, that can happen. I mean, Algorand is down over 7 days, almost 16. That project is no joke, and they're ISO 222 compliant. Pay attention. Pay attention. I really like the project, but it's a long shot for me. But I really like the project. I did my own research. Grow your bag. If you like what I'm talking about, do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely hit the notification bell so you know the next time I drop a video. Hope you're having a great day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.